Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of KC Legend. I have the beautiful, the brash, the opinionated one Miss Rancid Bitch Bella is in the building. I am so happy to have this time to talk to you about all things kink and the how you got here and all that stuff. Man, listen. So look,
Mm-hmm.
the first time I heard of you, I said, who is this queen that's literally out here doing all the things? And everybody was like, oh, you gotta be Bella, you gotta be Bella, you gotta be Bella, you and Bella gonna click. And that first time that we met at that dinner or at lunch, it literally was like talking to family.
Yes. Well, we're connected, right?
Yes.
We're all connected. We're connected.
So tell me a little bit about let's talk about Bella. Where are you from? Because you so country.
I'm country. I'm country than an egg sandwich. I'm from Mohead, Mississippi. I did not make it up. You can Google it. Rancid Bitch Bella is from a place called Mohead. Let that settle. That's where I'm from. If we were using the Kang's English, it's Moorhead, Moorhead.
Kang's language, Moorhead. But y'all call it Mohead.
We call it Go Ahead Mohead. That's where the fuck I'm from.
All right. So what
and
was
that
it
tells you pretty much all you need to know about why I am who I am.
That's why I was gonna say. So talk to us about Baby Bella. What was Baby Bella like?
I mean, you gotta give me an age range for Baby Bella. I have lived 24 lives. Because when you are from a marginalized group, you end up having to reset your life a lot because there's not a lot of stability. And I'm from a couple of marginalized groups, so I have experienced a lot of the isms like racism and classism and colorism, which people don't talk about colorism a lot. And I know me and you are gonna get into colorism because it's a fucking thing.
It is a thing.
Because I am a lot of things. I am Southern. I am female. I am Black. I am woman. And female and woman are two different things. We can talk about that too.
Girl, you trying to go there? Let's do it.
There. I have albinism. And then I have a disability. So I'm a part of a lot of groups that get fucked over. And I've had the special privilege of being fucked over in several flavors. So you're gonna have to define baby for me because I got thrown in the deep end of life really quickly.
I don't want to get into anything that's too triggered for you. You know, if you don't want to.
Oh no, I'm not saying that to say I'm triggered. I'm just saying, when is a baby? You know.
I mean, listen. Okay? So let me say, when did you discover? Let's go all the way back. So you said you have, you've got albinism.
Mm-hmm.
When did you discover?
Yes. People have albinism. People are not albinos. Right. Let's get that straight. People are not albinos. There are no such thing as people. There's not a species or a race of people who are albinos. There are people from various different races who have a condition, a genetic condition called albinism.
So when did you discover that you were, and I'm going to put this in perspective, kind of almost like a sexuality thing, because I think there is some point in which you realize that you are different.
When I realized that I didn't know how to say how I felt about girls, because I knew that I felt the way about girls that I was supposed to only feel about boys, but from the place that I was from and in the family that I was in and in the culture I was in, I honestly didn't have the language to express those feelings because that language didn't exist. There were a lot of derogatory terms being thrown around for, people who want attention and people who are quote unquote nasty, but I didn't even have a word to describe how I felt because I didn't know it existed. So I always knew I had these feelings, but I didn't know what to do with them.
Right.
I didn't know what to do with them because I had never seen a positive example of what I was feeling.
It's not that they wasn't doing them in Mohead Go Ahead. They just weren't talking about it.
Oh, baby. Yeah. 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 Oh, it's there. It's everywhere because we are people.
Right.
We are people. We're people, right? You know, the rarest group is the individual. Just stop thinking about that.
I look at it because you are someone who has so many different traits about you. You know what I'm saying? You're on the sexuality spectrum. We're all on the sexuality spectrum. You're not straight. Plus, you have albinism. And that is probably something that you have dealt with in both sets of, and both in the Black community as well as, mainstream white folk. You had to deal with backlash from that. And we'll get into the colorism not being Black enough, versus
it was even more extreme than that, but we'll get to it.
I think that when I ask her what your younger life is like, the big thing I want to know is how did you get here? Like, how did you get to the person that is Bella today?
I'm an asshole. I've had this conversation with other people. I didn't know I was different until somebody told me. I was in my family, living my motherfucking life. And then, I end up having to go to school and suddenly people are telling me that I'm not the same as them. I'm different. And I'm an asshole. So I didn't believe them. I'm stubborn as shit. So I'm not going to accommodate their lie. And so I fought a lot and it wasn't fucking fun. I've been fighting since I was like knee high to a pig's eye and it wasn't fucking fun. I didn't get to stop fighting, like literally physically fucking fighting. I didn't get to stop physically fucking fighting until I went to college. And I'm talking about getting thrown off buses, getting sent to the principal, getting like just, and they didn't know what to do with me because I wasn't a delinquent child. I wasn't just getting into fights to be getting into fights. I wasn't just doing things to be doing things. So usually there were no consequences because it was fighting, go to the office. Oh, it's B-Ray. Bella, baby Bella was B-Ray. Oh, it's B-Ray. So they just stuck me there. And nobody knew what to do with me. I wasn't a bad kid, but I was a consistently fighting kid.
It sounds like you were doing a lot of defending yourself, which I think a lot of times when you are seen as the other, no matter what community it is, I grew up in a majority white community. You know what I mean? So when you're seen as the other, it's always going to be some kind of something. You know what I mean? And for you, and I love that you said that you didn't realize you were different until someone told you were different. You know what I mean? Like,
I had no idea. I thought I was just like my whole fucking family because I was in my fucking family. Like no one in my family treated me different. No one, like literally, I have no recollection of anyone in my family telling me I was albino or I had albinism. You see how ingrained it is?
It's ingrained.
And that's what I grew up, and that's what I'm saying. You're raised with people telling you what the fuck you are, and I fought a lot of it, but that shit still seeps in. And like the place I'm at in my life is me overriding that bad programming and overriding the bullshit that I didn't fucking ask for.
Girl, you are preaching a word today. I always find talking to people, especially people of color, about their experiences growing up, you always get a word. There's always like there's a pass the collection plate style word in it, and
I got a lot. I got, I was Casper, because it was the 90s, right? I was Casper, I was Powder. When there were those really like assumed to be people with albinism in Matrix, and I got called Matrix a lot. I got called Goku a lot from Dragon Ball fucking Z, and at the time it pissed me off. Now to fucking date, okay, I had to look because I saw some fucking anime and I was like, is that fucking Goku? Do you got some Goku? We need Goku right up front if you got some, because that's my brother right there. Me and Goku, we're tight now. But when I was a fucking kid and I had people telling me what the fuck and who the fuck I was, me and Goku, we have a rough patch, but we're back together. We're tight, and that's the schoolhouse shit. But then I had adults in my life calling me a lily white bitch, and I had adults in my life calling me a little tangle-eyed motherfucker, and that shit wasn't cool either. Because in school, eventually people start fucking, and they're not bullying anymore. But when you still have adults in your neighborhood, you know it's true.
It's true.
It's
you not a single lie has been told yet.
Yeah, it's fucking true. When people start fucking, they ain't got time to fuck with cows, but they trying to get some pussy. Cause most of the people I was fighting were boys. Right. I guess it was mostly boys.
You know what they like to say?
The couple of girls I fought, they didn't do too good. But so it was mostly boys because girls stopped fighting because I got a reputation for being crazy. Because my philosophy was I cannot guarantee that I will win this fight. I do not guarantee that I will win this fight, but this shit ain't gonna be fun for nobody. That is my philosophy in fighting.
You might win, but it ain't gonna be no easy win.
No, it's not gonna be an easy win. So
everybody that fought me was girls, and I always lost. I'll be the first one to admit it. Cause girl, you bitches don't fight to look good.
Baby, have you seen me take a punch? Okay. Just ask around. If you talk to a couple people between now and whenever this airs, ask around. I can take a fucking punch. So if you don't make your first one your best one, if you don't wobble or weeble my ass on the first one, it's not gonna be fucking fun.
Right. Listen, every time I've been in 3 fights my whole life. All 3 of them was with girls, and I grew up with 3 sisters. So I grew up with the you don't hit girls type of mentality. Them girls beat the dog shit out of me every single time. So I don't fuck around with girls.
You know, I'm sorry that happened to you because that's social programming. Yeah, I was raised if they can throw a punch, they can take a punch. Oh, that was I was raised.
You know, it's funny enough, you know, my mom was like, at one point, she was like, look, if they hit you, you better knock their ass out.
Yeah.
She got tired of watching me get my ass beat by these girls. And so it was like, look, you better knock their ass out. But, you know, I think and this is coming out tonight, by the way, like as soon as we finish.
Oh, fuck yeah! Wow, that's so fucking cool.
Because you said when you said I'm available, you said no hose barred, no editing. We gonna talk about what we talk about, and I said, bet.
That's so fucking cool. Okay, you know that's cool because like I don't have to sit and have that anticipation of like, oh shit, I don't know. Yeah, that's cool, man. Fuck it, yeah, let's do it. Let's beat the brakes off this bitch.
Right. So let's get into when did you first discover that like your sexual proclivities were different than like you weren't vanilla?
Well, again, it took a long time for me to find language. I didn't find language for the things that the habits I was picking up until I was like fucking in college and I had access to the internet. Okay, so I don't know if this was your experience because I have like those old. I don't have old parents, but they just come up with them old traditions. So I didn't get a sex talk. My mom came home one day when I was like 13 and handed me a pamphlet from the health department and a big brown bag of free condoms. I'm pretty sure they were Durexes. And so that was my sex talk. I had to read the pamphlet and figure it out myself.
You got more than me. You got more than me because my parents did not know what to do with my gay ass.
Yeah, my mom just gave a pen. Well, you know what? I was reading anyway. I was a big reader because, you know, I didn't have a lot of fucking friends. I'm the kid that's fucking fighting all the time. So even if somebody wanted to fucking get to know me, like, I'm fucking scary. It's fucking scary. And scary, by the way, became my defense mechanism. Scary is a really good defense mechanism. Don't nobody know what to do with you with that defense mechanism, which will dovetail into some more shit we're going to talk about later. But so even people who want to approach you, they don't know how because you're perceived to be scary because you're fucking fighting every goddamn day. And you're in this fucking trauma loop where let's think about it like a life vest. Normal people see a life vest as an emergency. Right. Normal. That's not a thing. There's no such thing as normal. Neurotypical people. See, it's these fucking words, man. Neurotypical people see a life vest as an emergency item. This is something you use in case of emergency. People like me, I was at South Plains Leather Fest, and Mr. Ladybug used the term neurospicy. So thank you, Mr. Ladybug. Love talking to you. Love hearing what you had to say, and I am crediting you because I'm about to steal it. But neurospicy people, we're fucking walking around with our life vest on 24/7. We sleep in it, we eat in it, we bathe in it. So it don't take much for someone who is engulfed in trauma to just pull the ripcord and you access that, because danger's around every corner. Because for years and years and years and years, danger literally has been around every corner.
Listen, girl, the way you are speaking my language right now, like when I talk about growing up, you know what I'm saying, as in because you know, you have Mohead, Mississippi, I had Yorktown, Virginia. You know what I mean? Like when you grow up small town as the different person, you know, even if it wasn't always, I wasn't always in danger, the threat of danger was never far away. Does that make sense?
It makes absolute. Well, you know what? You grow up, and you know it's like, you know, that whole Pavlov situation. You know, when you grow up, and it does come from around every corner, you start to train yourself to just expect the shit. Just expect expect the shit to happen. Because if I expect the shit to happen, I'll be ready. If
it don't happen, then cool.
If I stay ready, I ain't got
to get ready.
Exactly.
You know, and it's so funny, like to the point now where even at my big age, say we all going out to a bar, right? If it's a straight bar, I have specific protocols in which I do to this day that I'm like, head stays on a swivel. You know what I mean?
Well, let's talk about Morehead, Mississippi. And I've spelled it for everybody, and you can look it up. The Wikipedia is fucking detestable. I don't know what Morehead, Mississippi is like from 2004 on, because that's when I left it. But when I was there from 1986 to 2004, it is still, and was, I'm gonna say was, because I haven't been there since 2004, it was still, for the most part, segregated. And I'm gonna say some shit that's gonna like blow people's mind. The school was segregated in a very clever way. There was the white folk school. Let me give the quotes here. White folk school and the black folk school. The black folk school was the public school that got abandoned after desegregation when the county built the academy. And there are families, or were, I'm talking about when I was there, I'm not there anymore. There were families that, you know, coworkers of my parents that were going broke and living in trailers because they had to send their child to the academy, because you could not send your child to the public school because that was the black school. We got a white child in that school the first day, maybe once every couple of years. And that's because some parents moved to the town and they were obligated to register their child in the public school. And they only stayed there as long as they had to. And those children disappeared within days.
Yeah.
There are all the mom and pop shops. When I was there from 1986 to 2004, they wouldn't be outright mean or aggressive to you. But if you were to go into a mom and pop shop that was owned by a white person or white family, they will just politely smile at you while they shuffle around, but they never get around to serving or seating you. And they just make it uncomfortable for you until you leave. There are places, or were from 1986 to 2004, when I lived there, there were places that my family just didn't go. I remember being a child in the back seat, pointing at buildings, asking, "Hey, what's that? What's that?" My parents would say, "It's a restaurant. It's a this, it's a that." "Oh, can we go there?" "No, that's the white folks store." That's what I came from. And from 1986 to 2004, when I actively lived there, that shit was happening.
So let me ask you a question that I want you to understand this question in the spirit in which I'm asking it. Was there ever a time when you were coming up that you got confused for white?
Um, let's start. Okay, so my mom, I was her first child, and everybody saw that she was pregnant and she was happy. She couldn't wait to have the baby. And after she had me, she came back home, and everybody thought that her baby had died and she had gone crazy, and she was now carrying a white baby doll around town. And then
I'm gonna laugh because that's not funny. But
yeah, no, this shit happened. It's ignorant. Laugh at the ignorance. Laugh at that shit. Baby, do I look like I'm worried about that shit? Do I look like I'm worried about that shit?
Not at all.
Laugh because it's ignorant. That's some ignorant ass shit.
I just in my mind, I think like, because the thing about like my family, we got all kinds of shades. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like I'm the darkest one. And there were times my sister, my older sister, when she was young, looked like a little white baby. And I hear so much of my family story in the things that you are saying.
Because it doesn't stop in just the South. Some people feel like because they live in certain regions or certain states or certain cities that these things are not happening in their backyard. These things are not happening at the schools that their children are going to. These things are not happening at the mom and pop shops they're patronizing, but they are.
Absolutely. And let's keep it real. Virginia is the South. Okay. Like that Virginia is the South.
Virginia was a part of the original Confederacy.
Yeah, Virginia is the South, and they let you know.
And because I'm a political science major, well, not major, I have a degree. Because I got the political science and African American study degree, I will tell you a large part of the, learned community, they consider the South to be the original Confederacy, the original states that were a part of the Confederacy. And Virginia was one of them.
Yes, it was. And they are proud of it. You know what I'm
saying?
Very proud of it.
Do they know they lost? Like, I'm always wondering if they know they lost. Like, they seem to still not realize they lost. It's so like
if we're keeping it one, we can keep it 100 here, right?
Yes.
Did they really lose?
Yo! That's a question you cannot be mad at. You have to look at that fucking question and you have to answer that fucking question. And it's a good ass question to be asking.
Because yes, they may have won the war, or they may have lost. Sorry, they may have lost the war, but they won the argument. You know what I'm saying? They got everything they wanted in Reconstruction. Let's keep it real. But you know what I'm saying? We're gonna put that question on the back burner. But maybe
we're just gonna let that sit there. Just let that sit there. Let that sit there a whole way. Let that sit there whole way. Okay, let's go. Now what?
All right. So let's talk about how you got the name RancidB Bella.
Well, Bella is who I am. Actually, like the name that my parents gave me, that's my dead name. I'm actually Bella. I'm gonna legally change my name to Bella. Bella started, I was a fucking nerd, and by was read, I am to this fucking day a nerd. And I play a lot of video games, and I read a lot of fantasy books, and I read a lot of choose your own adventure books, and I will always name my character Bella. Even if the character had a fucking name, I would just throw it away and I would be Bella, because that's what I was. And I eventually built that hero and made it life, and I became that hero. The way I became RancidB Bella It was a fucking episode of Law and Order SVU. There was this episode with this like divorced couple was fighting, and this guy, let me tell you, when he said it, I suppose he was acting, but he said that shit like he meant it. He said, "You rancid bitch," and I love the sound of it. I fucking loved it. And I was like, I just walked around for weeks going, "You rancid bitch," and I was like, and I was joking with somebody, you know, do you know who I am? Do you know who? Let me reintroduce myself. I'm Rancid Bitch Bella. I am fucking Rancid Bitch Bella. That's who the fuck I am.
Listen, I love it. I love it. So, you know, I'm sure you would, Ayana Van Zandt. You know who that is, right?
What?
I know who that is. Ayana Van Zandt.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, so one of my favorite insults now is to call somebody a gutter snipe. Because of the way she said that.
And that's what I love about words. Again, because I'm a fucking nerd, they get into you. Words get into you.
You rancid bitch.
Rancid bitch. And I just loved how it was just like point. Like it was, that shit was sharp from beginning to fucking end. And if you come at me, I am sharp from beginning to fucking end. This bitch does not dull, but you can try it.
Listen, so let's get into that, because okay, so here's the deal. You are one of the most outspoken. You say what the fuck is on your mind. You don't hold your tongue. I have seen you on the social media that we all use for the things. I have seen you drag people by their hair verbally. And then they'd be like, and have those same people thank you for the dragging.
It's like Bianca Del Rio. It's like people beg Bianca Del Rio to drag them.
I'm like, and I'll be looking like, and part of me has to wonder sometimes, are they just not catching what is being said?
Man, so here's the thing. Like, I have had to be, well, a couple things happened. Like the important thing that has happened is that I started this cool bomb ass mental health journey that I really love talking about. It's my favorite subject, and people are gonna be sick of hearing it. But like, this shit has been, like, life became easy suddenly, and it's blowing my mind. I am honestly confused as to how life became suddenly easy, and I really want to talk about that. But I had this mental health journey. That is a thing that happened, and then I wrote something once, and it was supposed to be satire, and I noticed that people were so hungry for difference and hungry for change that they took it seriously, and it hurt. It hurt. At first I was like, I was going to my closest like associates, like, this reads as satire, right? And they were like, yeah, it reads as satire. I was like, why are they? And it took me like hours throughout the day to figure it out. And I was like, oh, it's because they, like, the thing that I'm talking about really is happening, and they really do need it to be different. And after that day is when I started going on this new journey that I'm on, where if I want things to be different, truly different, I have to contribute, and I have to do more than type words on the screen.
Yeah. I think a lot of people think, and especially with, the rise of Black Lives Matter, and people tend to think that you can say a couple words, you know what I'm saying, and that's enough. But you don't have no actions that go along with those words. And so I think, like, because I'm on a very similar journey myself, and I'm gonna have to have you on my mental health podcast when we get that up and running again, so that you can fully talk about your journey.
I'm so excited about it. It's like a new puppy, and I show people pictures of it, and I'm calling my friends and family and say, hey, guess what my puppy did today? It pissed on the carpet, but I cleaned it up and I didn't cry. It's great. I love it.
But
It's like that sometimes.
You know, and listen, I'm one of those people that I will talk about my mental health journey to a wall. You hear me?
Because it's my favorite subject. It really is.
Because it really does.
It keeps me accountable. It changes the game. It keeps me accountable. It keeps me in practice. Like, you have to practice being mentally healthy.
Yeah.
You have to practice.
And you got to give yourself the grace. You know what I'm saying? When you out of practice. And I think that's the thing that, for me, and I can almost guarantee the same thing for you. But feel free to tell me I'm wrong.
You full of shit. No, go ahead.
I have the hardest time when I get out of practice, not judging myself or beating myself up when I fall back into my thing, into my what I call my used to be trap.
My used to be. Yeah, well, you know, I have found, and at first I thought it was stupid, but one of the things I was dealing with were just spiraling thoughts. And when I say spiraling thoughts, it's like a fucking Wikipedia rabbit hole at 2 a.m. You start out thinking, damn, I need eggs. And somehow you're like thinking about that Easter, you had these really good ass grits for breakfast. What the fuck was in those grits? What are grits? Wait, it's 4 a.m. Like that kind of. And so affirmations have been helping it. And I started using them for other shit besides the spiraling thoughts. And one of my favorite ones is, I am allowed to be both a work in progress and a masterpiece. Because, you know, you're not a robot. You're not a machine. You are an organism. You're a living being. You are being. You are constantly fluidly changing. And so just because shit's okay today don't mean it's gonna be okay tomorrow. Just because this was an easy day don't mean tomorrow is gonna be. So on some days, you ain't gonna respond to that shit the way you know you should and you wish you had, but that is okay. You are allowed to be a masterpiece and a work in progress.
So how do you integrate your mental health journey into your kink?
Bro, fucking talking about it. A big part of my mental health issues was codependency, and codependency will kill you in kink. It will suck the fucking guts out of your soul in kink, in life, but in kink, for real, for real.
I always think of, like, I think especially if you're talking like a DS or MS dynamic, it is based in codependency.
I can't speak on it. I've not done research. I've not, I haven't gone to the dance. I haven't been to the meetings. I haven't read the flyers. So I can't speak on that.
Like, it just like that to me is one of those things that, like, and I like, and that's just from some of the relationships that I've seen. It is like it feels to me like you are looking for somebody to, handle XYZ, or you want somebody to tell you that you can do XYZ, which to me is codependent behaviors. But, at the same time, I guess one of the reasons why I haven't been actively searching for a DS dynamic, because MS will never happen here, because you're not gonna call me a slave. That's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother situation. But I mean that from my rooter to my tutor. People are tired of me talking about that, but I say when
okay, let's take a detour. Let's take a detour. There is a camp, and I'm asking your opinion about this because I ain't got to be the only person in the hot seat. There is a camp of people who feel like people of color, specifically African American people, should not do rope because of slave culture, like the Southern slave trade and the way rope was used against our ancestors during that time. That's a thing. Look it up. And I see your face, and I want to know what your face feels. Please tell me.
Okay, so my face personally feels like mind your motherfucking business. what I'm doing is what I'm doing.
You know how I feel because you see my black ass in the air and rope, so you know how I feel about it.
I'm interested in and I'm all about like, please, I think it fucking looks sexy. B, I think that, there is something in that, that feeling of helplessness and all that I'm interested in exploring. But at the same time, I can understand why someone of color would say you can't tie me up. But again, your business.
There you go.
Mind yours and let me mind mine. Like I have a thing about, I will never be whipped. It's never gonna happen. Can't do it.
And I, have not been, but I won't count it out. I won't count it out. I haven't met that person yet. I haven't met that person yet that I was like, yeah, let's go. And that person might not exist. I might never meet that person. But like I wouldn't count it out. And like we're two different persons. And you see how we don't feel the same way about that thing, but we're still having this conversation and enjoying each other's company and enjoying the conversation and then growing, exchanging ideas and opinions and energy. That's the shit that I'm trying to contribute to.
And here's, okay, so I feel like we're jumping a bunch of topics, but like, I love how organic this conversation is. So that brings me to kind of the state of where we're at in the community. And I hate to use that word because I don't feel like that word necessarily fits what's happening in the city right now, especially after this weekend.
Okay, let's start. How are we defining the city? Are we defining the city as Kansas City proper, or are we defining the city as select counties? Are we defining the city as select suburbs? How are we defining the city?
Metro area, the kink community in Kansas City.
Okay, so let's just say whoever's willing to drive Kansas, Missouri, sometimes Oklahoma. Let's say that.
Okay. I went to Oklahoma this weekend, and when I tell you
Oklahoma be popping. Oklahoma be popping.
Listen, Tulsa was popping.
Oklahoma be popping. Do not sleep on Oklahoma. Oklahoma be fucking popping. I've had some of my favorite fucking times in Oklahoma.
Girl, listen, shout out to Okie, shout out to Athens, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Kali, like C, Tiffany, we went down there. When I tell you, we had a ball. You know what I'm saying? No drama. No drama. Nobody was in their feelings. Wasn't no egos. Wasn't no, you do this, you do that. What no, if you go to this thing, you can't go over here. None of that. It was so much fun and just so like and Kali said to me, we were in the hotel room and she said, this is what the community used to be like. And I went, damn. But you posted a photo, you posted a thing the other day, that there was like, community is what you want it to be. You know what I mean? And that you had a really good time at an event, and we didn't go strictly because we weren't in town, but like to me, and you said, rather than lamenting about the fact that there's no community, you found one.
Yeah. Well, I had, even before the COVID pandemic, I had locked myself up in my house. And I literally decided any kink I wanted to do, I was going to make sure I can make a place for that in my home so that I was not beholden to any entity or any person regarding my kink. I tell people that I've had an abusive relationship with rope because I was being codependent with rope. In the before times, I would want to feel feelings and I would want to do things and I would be waiting around for my partner to tie me. And I'm sitting there getting pissed off and resentful because I am waiting for someone to tie me. Nobody asked me to do that. I could have went and done my own shit. And working on my fucking codependency has actually like improved my relationship with fucking rope, because I don't think people realize that they can also be codependent with the things that they love. It's not just being codependent with people. You can be codependent with activities. You can be codependent with pets. You can be codependent with your job. You can be codependent with anything.
If you were using something, someone or something to fill what you feel a need in your life, that is codependency. Textbook. You know what I'm saying? You are dependent on something for your happiness. Or for you to, like you said, feel a feeling, whatever that feeling is. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just my feelings on it. But like one of the things I really love about watching you in social spaces, especially online, because we don't really get to see each other very often. When we do, we know it's going to be a popping time, but we don't get to see each other very often. But I think like watching you online and watching the way that you interact with people is how 100% real you are. Like you don't pull, like I said, you don't pull no punches, and you even allow space to be wrong. I was reading something.
I'm just a dude. I'm just a fucking dude. I'm just a fucking dude. I'm not special in any way. The only reason you're talking to me is because I decided to leave my house one day and you thought I was interested and you asked and I said yes. I didn't do anything. I didn't invent anything. I have not done anything special, but be fucking me. And that's all it fucking takes. Just be fucking you.
I think that, I think also being a person of color and I'm gonna just say it, being a person of color in a kink community is special in of itself. It is an achievement.
Bro, I don't know if you noticed or anybody else who is listening or looking or whatever who knows of me, I recently just tapped into Black Fit Life. Oh boy. Bro, okay, so let's have some real time with Bella. The only time that I have actually been inundated in a Black community was growing up, and that wasn't fun. I didn't get to go to an HBCU, and I say didn't get to because it wasn't my decision where I applied because parents. And so I didn't get to make that decision for myself. So I didn't get to. Obviously, I wanted to. I was in a Mississippi fucking marching band. Of course, I wanted to go.
Yeah, HBCU that was on your list.
Of course, that's where I wanted to be in the South, but I didn't get to. And when I left college, I moved around from state to state. So I decided I was going to be nomadic. And I ended up in New York for a couple of years. And then I ended up here. And, I am now finding Black Fit Life. And I feel like for the first time, I'm a part of my own culture, because my last experience being inundated in my culture, I was told that it actually was not my culture. And to be told that I am beautiful by other really fucking beautiful Black persons, it's like I've been crying, like literally like boo-hooing about this shit for the last week.
Because, yeah, and I will tell you, I'm going to be super transparent about where I was and I will say this is how indoctrination works. I didn't want to go to an HBCU. I had no interest in going to an HBCU. I had no interest in being around, large groups of other Black people. It wasn't until probably been the last 10 years that I've been, super blickety black. You know what I mean? Like it's
Black looks good on you.
It does. You know what I mean?
Black but it's real good on you.
But it was because growing up, I grew up between Yorktown, Virginia and DC. You know what I'm saying? So I was the good talking nigga. We can say it is what it is. Mm-hmm. I was the Oreo. I was the only Black friend. You know what I mean? I was the person that when someone was like, I'm not racist, I got a Black friend, I was the friend. And you,
I refuse to be that friend.
I was, now I look at it differently. But at the time, you know what I'm saying, when you don't know any better and that's what you're that's the world that you grow up in, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've only ever had one Black partner in my, in my 40 years of existence.
Fun fact, same. Fun fact, same. Fun fact, same. And it was my high school boyfriend.
Same. Same.
Well, that was that other thing when, I went to college and, I started listening to white folk music and I started, watching anime and I started reading Anne Rice and I started doing a lot of things and playing tabletop games and dabbled in a little bit of role playing. Shout out Gaia Online. If anyone out there knows about Gaia Online, I was out there and I know a lot of us kinksters, us little baby kinksters, cut our teeth on some fucking role playing online shit like Gaia Online. Yeah, and so because I went to a place where I saw all of what life had to offer and I'm soaking it up, I'm going over where the nerds at Ole Miss, where the fucking mascot at the time was a fucking plantation owner.
Whoa.
Let's talk about that shit.
It's indoctrination.
They thought that shit was okay for a very long fucking time. Even after I graduated in 2010, they still at that time were thinking that shit was okay. I think at this point they've changed the official mascot, but if you go to Oxford, Mississippi, the town is still plastered with Colonel Real. Fun fact, Ole Miss is a nickname for the plantation mistress. So the damn school is nicknamed for the plantation mistress and the fucking mascot was the plantation master. And that's why I went to college.
So I will give you, they just in the last 2 years changed one of the high schools in the area that I grew up in from Robert E. Lee. Just did it.
Bruh. Really? But I mean, it's slow progress. But like you said, is it progress? Because this shit is happening at a fantastically slow rate and people still don't understand. And the people who do understand still don't understand that they need to be doing what they can to help the motherfuckers in the back.
They'll never get, you know what? I always say everybody wants to be progressive until it means giving up something. We can hold on to that one. But so I want to talk about one of the things, and this will be the last thing that we have on this side. Make sure y'all are hitting up that Patreon and checking out what we about to talk about because we about to go there. Because you've heard we've talked about that Bella is kinky, but we haven't talked about what she's into yet. We're gonna get into that on the other side in the Patreon streets.
What I'm into today, it might be different tomorrow. It might be different.
So one of the things that I also love about watching you and watching the growth, even just in the short amount of time that I've known you, your photographs, baby. When I tell you, listen, ain't too many women's is, because when I'm on the Fat Life, I'm looking for one thing and one thing only. And I'm sure you know what it is.
Intellectual conversation.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Because intellectual conversation abounds on Fat Life.
Yes, it is. That's what I'm looking for. I want to I want to see what your mind is doing.
I only appreciate intellectual conversation when there are a lot of needles in it. Those are my favorite intellectual conversations.
When you stick to the points.
Yeah, when they stick that point. They stick it.
But your photos are just they're so fucking pretty. Like, except for them clowns, I gotta tell you, me and clowns, we not. You saw how they did me when we was out that last time. I can't do them.
Jelly bean.
Mm-hmm.
Jelly bean. Jelly. I love jelly beans. Jelly beans. I take good care of jelly beans. Jelly beans is a whole other side of me. And that's a thing I love about kink. I get to be wherever the fuck I want. And I've always done that, you know, before I found kink or before I like actually learned what this shit was. I used to wear a different fucking wig every day. In middle school, I used to steal my little brother's like clip-on bow ties because I wanted to be different. So like, why not in kink? Why not be a clown today? Why not roll around in fucking glitter and
scary?
It's scary.
It's scary.
But you know, is that something we're doing? We're facing our fears. We're looking behind the veil to see what's there.
Clowns, and I don't like it. But like, you posted a photo, and I want to highlight, and I'm not gonna I'm not gonna like put it up. But there was this photo that you had, and I don't know, was that water or honey or?
You just described at least 16 things I've done. I'm gonna need you to be more specific, babe.
But you was sitting down, and it was one of the more recent ones. And you had the natural hair and had the natural curl pattern.
In the shower.
That picture is so fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, I loved my hair. It was one of the first things that I took back. Because my hair had always been pressed and permed as a child. No one told me why. I went to fucking college. Like, you know, I'm differently able. I'm legally blind. So I had to be in the dorms. I'm also a fucking loner. So I didn't have like a whole group of friends. So how the fuck do you perm hair in the fucking dorms? It was not easy or fun. And one day I realized, why am I perming my hair? No one told me why I was supposed to be perming hair. And I just cut the shit off. I cut the shit off and I've been, you know, rocking my natural hair texture ever since. And I fucking love it. I love that all I need is what I call earth juice, water. All I need is water. And my hair is the most beautiful thing that I have.
Gorgeous, like the tones in it, like everything about it is gorgeous. And I've seen you. Are those wigs when your hair is straight, or are you flat iron?
Those are wigs.
Like you look good with the full-on straight hair and with your natural curl pattern and with, like, you know what I'm saying, the head wrap where you was giving us badu. Like, I said, this is like, you are, not only are you intellectually stimulating and like a bad bitch on all fronts, but you are gorgeous too. Like, girl.
Well, you know what? I wasn't supposed to love me. And you know what? I love me some fucking me. Because if I don't love me, who fuck gonna love me? You know, some people say, if you can't love yourself, how the hell you gonna love someone else? But I say, if I don't love me, who the fuck gonna love me? Because I have to wake up and go to sleep in this motherfucker every day of my life by myself. I am the only person that has to take this walk with me every fucking day. So if I don't fucking love me, it's gonna be a long ass walk.
The only person that has to have your back 24/7, 365, 6 on a leap year is you.
Yeah, I mean, even if some days, even if you ain't feel it, even if you ain't some days, even if you ain't fucking feeling it, you gotta say, well, I ain't feeling it, but I wish a motherfucker would, because they gonna catch his ass whooping if they fuck with me today. Yeah. Some days, that's what gets me through the day. And you know, the day will go home with no incident. And by the way, I'm not advocating violence. I'm not advocating having a sour and nasty attitude. What I'm advocating is protecting your energy and putting yourself first. On those fucking days when you absolutely cannot for yourself, what the fuck you look like doing for others? What the fuck they do that at? You can't do for you. Here's the thing. I heard another analogy. You know how when you're in the airplane and they tell you, in case of emergency, you put your life mask on before you try to help others. Now, if you're fumbling and trying to help somebody else and you haven't taken care of yourself, you have passed out, you have fallen out, you have hurt yourself and you probably didn't help them. So, you're both passed out. So ain't nobody got no help. So you need to help yourself before you help others, because you are not useful to others if you are on empty. And you are definitely not useful to yourself when you're on empty. And sometimes when we try to soldier through it and we try to give ourselves when we're on empty, we end up fucking up. We end up melting down.
Mine is the thing that I say all the time is I can't pour from an empty cup. Can't do it.
You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't get blood from a stone. All that shit.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I don't have it, I can't pour into anything that I'm doing. So let me make sure that I have it and make sure that I am full so that I can pour into other people.
Yes.
And sometimes I still pour into myself.
So what I'm saying, on those days when you don't have it for yourself, you need to protect your energy and recognize you show the fuck don't have it for others.
Listen, my peace is more important than anything anybody else got going on. Right, real talk. Like protecting my peace is like that is more important. I don't care what I have signed up to do. If my peace is more important than that. It is what it is. There have been things I've wanted to do with people, with things for my channel, for all that stuff, that I'm just like, you know what? My peace is more important than that.
I gotta pace myself. I have to be honest with myself. Like I said, I recently went to South Plains Leather Fest. It was amazing. And like we were talking about earlier, the thing that got me back out of my hole was going somewhere else. Going to South Plains Leather Fest. Some amazing people did a lot of fucking hard work to make it happen, and it was beautiful. I felt so much energy. I felt so much culture and community, and this was an event that I had never gone to this type of event before, and I didn't feel like an outsider. I felt welcomed, and I felt like they were happy that I was there, and they were happy that I was seeing what it is that they get to experience. And I saw it and I loved it. I was intoxicated off it, honestly, because it was so good. And so I say all that to say that you gotta take some time out for yourself. You gotta take some time out from your normal routine. Shake that shit up. But at the end of the day, you gotta be happy with yourself. You gotta be happy with what you're doing. And you have to be happy about how you feel about you.
Breathe. Pass the collection plate, y'all. All right. Well, on that note, we're gonna go ahead and end our YouTube time. Because man, we've been talking, girl. You know, we were talking for an hour and I didn't even realize it.
I'm the mouth of the South, baby.
Okay, more the mouth of the South. But don't forget, we are actually moving over to our Patreon, to Behind the Gated Community, so that we can talk about some nasty shit.
Ooh, we about to get into it.
We about to get into it. So make sure you're going to www.patreon.com/KC Caffeine. Go ahead and put right now for the first month, all subscriber tiers are getting access to the videos. Now that ain't always gonna be that way. But for right now, all subscriber tiers are getting access to all of the videos until I go in there and make some changes to some shit. We'll get to that soon. Cause listen,
so some changes is coming.
Huh?
Some changes is coming.
Listen, a change gonna come.
Some change gonna come.
Some change gonna come.
Will there be smoke in the city? And that was the night the lights went out in Georgia.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank y'all for watching. Come and see us on Patreon, and we will be back later.